Hello, hi, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a December wrap-up, which feels like a long time coming because basically what happened is I started watching the show Suits, which is 9 seasons long, and I became so consumed and obsessed with Darvey that I just didn't read any books for like months. Like literal months. Was I reading? Yes, I literally read like how many years worth of fics, but I did not read any books. So this was the month that I came back to it. I was like, I have to do it. Please pull me out of my book slump. And so here we are. I'm finally back. I'm finally reading books. Gotta be specific because I was reading fics, but we're finally reading books again. So let's get started. So the first book that I finished this month was The People We Keep by Allison Larkin. Now, this book, let me just start by saying what it's about. So this, I guess, is considered historical fiction because it takes place in the 90s, and it's about a girl, April, who, she's a teenager. I forget if she's like 16 or 17. And her mother left when she was young. And so she's being raised by this dad who is extremely negligent and is literally about to ditch her as well for another family. And one day, she's an aspiring musician. And one day she gets into a big fight with her dad. So she takes off, she steals his truck and takes off with like nothing more than her guitar. And so the book basically follows April as she jumps from town to town trying to make it as a musician while lying about her life and the people that she meets along the way that help her in her journey. I gave this book 3 stars, okay? The fact that this book took me 5 months to read, 5 months, I feel like that's saying something, you know? Now granted, yes, I was watching Suits and I was fully consumed with another work of fiction. But at no point during these months did I have any inclination to go back to this. I think I finished like literally 75% of this book back in like August and just had no desire to go back to it. This book was so depressing. I cannot stress enough to you how depressing this book was. I thought that it was going to be like April, like going out on her own and meeting these people that were going to become her friends and they were going to help her along the way, you know, on her journey to being a musician. No. I mean, yes, but no. This book was tragic. It was so tragic. Every town that April would go to, she would meet these people. Most of them were shit. Like, they were bad. And she would lie. She would have to lie because she was only like 16 or 17. So she would have to lie about her life, and then eventually the lies would catch up to her, and so she either had to like deal with this confrontation or leave, and every single time she chose to leave, and this happened over and over and over again. And like, if you think that there's a romance, there is not. They try to have several romances in here. Every single one of them is absolutely disgusting. The grossest one being where April, who is underage, starts dating this guy who's in his 30s or 40s. I don't even know. I think in his 30s. And he doesn't know how old she is because she's lied. But I know how old she is. I know how disgusting this is. I know that this is not love. And the fact that it's like brought up like over and over and over again throughout the book, I was like, this is disgusting. I also really didn't like, I'm not one of those people who doesn't like the like unplanned surprise pregnancy tropes. Like, I usually don't mind it as long as it's with my ship. Now if it's with people that I don't like, then that's a whole other thing. Like, if it's with a ship I don't ship, that's a whole other thing. But I generally don't like dislike pregnancy tropes. Except in this one, because I just really didn't like it. I thought the book would have been so much better if they had just completely cut that storyline out and it had just ended, literally it could have ended the exact same way just like cut the baby out, and it would have been so much better. Overall, this book was depressing. There was no romance whatsoever. I didn't really like the characters. It was just, and it took me 5 months to read. I mean, no thank you. So the next book that I read this month was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, which is technically the first book in this series, but for me it's the second because I read The Assassin's Blade, which are the prequel novellas, before I read this, and let me tell you, that was a mistake. Don't do that. But yeah, so this book in particular is about Selena, who is an assassin, and she's like the best assassin, and she's been caught, and she has been put in a labor camp to basically work there until she dies. And one day she gets approached by the captain of the royal guard, Kale, who brings her to the prince, Dorian, who basically says that his dad, the king, is having this competition to see who is going to be his personal assassin. And if she wins, she only has to be his assassin for 4 years, and then she can have her freedom, or she can choose not to compete and stay at this labor camp until she dies. So, obviously, Selena chooses to join this competition and compete against like 23 other people to be the king's assassin. And as the competition is going down, competitors just start being attacked, and it's up to Selena to basically, well, it's not up to Selena, but she chooses to investigate like what is happening to these competitors before it happens to her. I also gave this book 3 stars. I knew going into this that I was not going to be a fan of the romantic aspect of it because I had read The Assassin's Blade and I had very much shipped Sam and Selena, and if you know, you know, that did not go well for me. So I knew going into this that I wasn't likely to ship Selena with anybody else, but oh my god, the choices they gave me. Wow. I think if I had not read The Assassin's Blade, I probably would have shipped Kale and Selena, but I sure as shit would not have shipped Dorian and Selena because I absolutely hated Dorian. I thought he was disgusting, so misogynistic. Yeah, I was pretty much out on Dorian as a character when he was gonna kill a puppy. Like, that was the end for me. And a lot of this book is this love triangle romance between Selena, Kale, and Dorian, so I was not having a great time with that, as you can. I also felt like the other aspects of the plot were very predictable. I thought the murder mystery aspect of it was very predictable. I thought that the competition aspect of it was pretty much pushed to the wayside, like halfway through the book, and then when it did pick back up, I thought that was pretty predictable as well. So I just wasn't very impressed. I really liked Selena. I liked her dog. I liked her friendship with Nehemia, and like I said, if I'd not read The Assassin's Blade, I probably would have shipped Kale and Selena. But overall, like, I hope it gets better. I'm going to absolutely continue it because I need to see Selena, like, get her revenge. I need it. I want it. But yeah, just overall was kind of disappointed. And the last book that I read this month was Curse of the Spectre Queen by Jenny Elder Moak. So I went into this knowing absolutely nothing. I'd literally never seen anybody else read it, so I really didn't know what to expect. But this is a mystery. We'll say it's a mystery. About, it takes place in the 1920s, and it's about this girl, Sam, who lives in a very small town. She's very sheltered. She works in an antique bookshop, and she doesn't really have a life outside of that. Her dad died in the war, and she was supposed to go off to school with her best friend Joe and Joe's older brother Bennett, who Sam's always had a crush on, but she felt guilty for leaving her mother, so she stayed in this town to work at this bookshop. And one day she gets this diary in the mail, this really old diary, and she brings it to Bennett, and he's like, oh, that's, that was sent from my professor that I'm about to go work with in Ireland. And so Sam's like, okay, cool. She goes back to the bookshop, and there's these two men that are looking for the diary, and they accidentally set the bookshop on fire looking for it. And so Sam feels like she has to warn Bennett because he has this diary. And so her and Joe go after him. And that's where the adventure starts. I gave this book 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the main character, Sam. She was very bookish, very introverted. But I just really liked the dynamic of like Sam and Joe and Bennett. Like, I loved it. Like, they all had such vastly different personalities that to put them together to solve this mystery, it was just so good. I loved that the backdrop was Celtic lore. Oh my gosh, yes. There was references to Titanic. Like, it was so good. I didn't know what to expect, but I was very impressed. I will say the one downfall was that I guessed the mystery of it like very early on, like almost immediately. But I really didn't care at that point because I really loved the backdrop, I loved the characters, I loved the dynamic of the groups, I liked Sam and Bennett. So I really, really enjoyed this, and when I finished it, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to read the other one because they were just so fun, and I so rarely read like genuinely fun books. So yeah, I really liked this, and I'm gonna read the sequel. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please do. And I will see you in the next video, and I'll probably include a clip of Kate and Lucy. Bye!